Welcome to the DCU Sports Campus for this Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup encounter between DCU Docasseran and IT Carlow. It's not knockout, but someone will go out tonight. It's the final game of the group. DCU, well, they need a win. They're on 2 points. IT Carlow are on 4 points. Waterford IT are playing Maynooth University at the same time as this one, and that could affect either of the teams here. It's likely that Waterford IT will win their match, and that will put them on 4 points. Then it's down to what happens here. If two teams are locked on 4 points, then it's down to head-to-head. If three teams are locked on 4 points, then it's down to scoring difference. Get the calculators ready. Sarah O'Donovan, formerly of Dublin and Cork. It's a good night for hurling, first of all, isn't it?
It is. I've been here training on some miserable evenings, and this is a much, much nicer evening than I remember.
What are you expecting from this match?
Look, I think IT Carlow probably need to get the job done. They're looking at the other side of the group. They don't want to come up against possibly UCC. You know, maybe they'd fancy a draw against NUIG. So in order to do that, they have to win this game. DCU obviously have to win the game because they're out. So I think DCU will have to come out all guns blazing. DCU
were disappointing in their last game here against WIT. They need a response tonight, don't they?
They do, but unfortunately, I don't know if the players are there to get that response. You know, absence of Rory O'Connor is huge. I think he would have been a massive threat for IT Carlow to have to look after. And if the distribution is really good from the IT Carlow backs, you're going to get lots of scores for IT Carlow.
Sean Curry is out as well, but we may see him at some point. We'll get to the exact detail of the team news in just a moment. For IT Carlow, they've got some real experience in their team. Cathal Dunbar of Wexford, Marty Mouse Kavanagh of Carlow, who excelled for St Mullins a couple of years ago when they got to a provincial final. Chris Nolan, a traditional number 14, can hang around the square and win ball. That senior inter-county experience, that strength, that nuance, that does count for something, doesn't it?
Hugely so, and Jerry Kelly at centre back as well. I'm a little disappointed that we won't see Owen Cody, but look, he's 10 days out from an All-Ireland final, so you wouldn't expect to see him today. I wouldn't play him today with the fact that they're practically through. But look, they just need to get the job done today, and as you said, that experience is huge. I think Marty Kavanagh has been in college as long as I was in college, which is about 7 years, so
yeah.
His experience will count for a lot.
If his nickname isn't Van Wilder, something is wrong. That's a reference that might be lost on some of the younger people watching tonight. Google it, you'll know exactly what I mean. Ryan Reynolds, when he was young. This is essentially knockout hurling. That does focus the mind, doesn't it?
It's knockout hurling for DCU. It could be knockout for Carlow if they get the wrong side of the group for the semi-final, and that's what they're going to be looking at, avoiding UCC at all costs. I think UCC are the team to avoid. That's what for me would be a reason why it's knockout for IT Carlow as well.
Okay, well, we know Ryan Reynolds is not in the team for either of the sides tonight, but let's find out who is. Let's take an early check on the team news. Eddie Gibbons is a strong goalkeeper with a long puck out. They can use that as an attacking platform. Dara Gray, one to watch at wing back. Owen Murphy and Martin O'Connell, very industrious in midfield. Ronan Hayes has been excellent for club and county in the last while. He's been pretty decent for his college this season as well. Sean Curry and Rory O'Connor were due to start. They're both out. They've been replaced by Kieran Brennan and Jim Ryan. For IT Carlow, they were desperately unlucky not to win this competition a couple of years ago. Podge Delaney strong at fullback. Jerry Kelly in front of him from Borrisalee. He will not let anything past him very easily. Cathal Dunbar, a real playmaker in midfield. Marty Kavanagh jumps off the team sheet. He's in at centre forward. In front of him, Chris Nolan, his fellow Carlow man. He can win direct ball if IT Carlow choose to go long. Chris Nolan, so important for IT Carlow. IT Carlow, they've never won this competition. Neither have DCU Docasseran, and they're still very much on for a double, by the way. Spoiler alert, they won earlier on in the quarter-final. I won't give the detail of that game to you. If you want to go back and watch it, you can do so on the Electric Ireland YouTube channel. We will keep an eye on what's happening elsewhere tonight, because as I said, that does, or potentially does, have ramifications for this game. There's DCU. They're quite literally a strong team, Sarah.
Very much looking as athletic as he should be coming out of a DCU gym come February. I think Ronan Hayes will have a big part to play today. He was busy at the weekend in Croke Park, and look, a player like that needs ball, so I suppose we'll be looking for the likes of Dara Gray at wing back, his distribution, finding Ronan Hayes. It'll be critical for DCU to get these key players on the ball, and that obviously comes from your platform at centre back.
One player I didn't mention in the team news there was James Bergen of Connahee Shamrocks. He's done it for his club. He's making his way in his county. If he fires, then he could really trouble IT Carlow.
Agreed. I think crucially, Hayes and Bergen are the key players for DCU today in the absence of Rory O'Connor. So in order to get those two players on the ball, IT Carlow are obviously going to see them as big threats. They're going to try and close them down. It's going to be a lot of ball is going to be played in the half forward line.
Cian Kenny of James Stevens Kilkenny, he'll pop on the helmet eventually, but with the helmet off you can see how young looking some of these lads are face wise, but how old looking they are body wise.
They have a lot of hurling played, in the last 6 or 8 months, and the conditions tonight will really suit that fast style of play from both teams. So I would say that DCU will go at him quite early. As you mentioned earlier, a big puck out from Eddie Gibbons, and this pitch is actually quite short, so that will suit them as well. Looking to get the ball into the pockets, looking to get early scores.
Cathal Dunbar from Naovena in Wexford, another experienced county man. Beside him, Seamus Casey of Oligate Glenbrine, another Wexford man. There's Michael Dempsey, and beside him, the one and only DJ Carey. If you're a forward, I imagine you're just picking DJ's brain constantly, asking him question after question.
Absolutely. I think the best corner forward that ever played the game, let's be honest. Cathal Dunbar actually was lined out at wing forward the last day, so it's actually interesting to see him moved into midfield today. They're obviously looking for more direct ball. DJ Carey desperate to lead this team to an Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup title. They've come close in the past. They're going to host the final also, so it will be a particularly big deal. As we were saying earlier on, the footballers knocked out, having given it a good effort, but the hurlers still very much involved. Of course, those the final weekend and couple of days that surrounded it's not just about the Fitzgibbon and Sigerson Cups, it's about the other competitions as well. There's Michael Dempsey, who for a long time was part of the Kilkenny management setup, has managed the Laois footballers as well. Believe it or not, I once kind of accidentally wandered into one of the training sessions that he was running in O'Hanrahan's when they were Leinster champions. He took it easy on me. You're very lucky. That's a very rare thing. Yeah, well, very rare thing.
Well, that told me everything I needed to know about myself as an athlete, that he didn't want to run me through the paces. He's run these lads through their paces, I'm sure. DCU under Owen Roach. Also part of the management team, Kieran Heatherton, Ian O'Donnell.
Very impressed with the jerseys actually today for DCU. It's nice to be able to recognise the numbers, the navy, the yellow on the navy,
yep.
The white on the navy, quite difficult to see, so kudos to DCU for getting that away.
Fair play to them. James Owens is a referee. For a big match you need a big game referee. That's exactly what we've got. The final few moments, the calm before the storm. We'll keep an eye on everything that's going on between Waterford IT and Maynooth.
Just see there, Jack Roach has actually gone into midfield alongside Cian Kenny. So Cathal Dunbar has moved again.
And away we go. Who will go through? Who will go out? It's possible that both of these teams could go through. It's not possible that both of them will go out. It is still in the group stage, but it's the last night of the group.
It's not possible that both of them will avoid UCC either, so there's a lot to play for here today.
Marty Kavanagh, named in the club team of the year a couple of seasons ago already. There's a little bit of tension. That's okay. No one wants to take a step back. No one also wants to get sent off, so it's one of those situations where guys are kind of standing close to each other, but not actually properly fighting, if I can put it that way.
I think there's probably a little bite today because they'll have been disappointed against WIT last week. DCU, they're looking to prove a point today. There's a nice crowd here. It's a nice evening for hurling.
Conor Murphy of Bennett's Bridge is being spoken to here. James Owens seems calm enough about the situation.
Chris Nolan certainly making his presence felt around the square there.
Came off the bench. I beg your pardon, he started, and Marty Kavanagh came off the bench in the Kyo Cup final last Sunday. Carlow losing out to Westmeath. Here is Kavanagh, who made a real impact for Carlow on that day. He's a special talent. And he shows us a glimpse of that talent there. That's a really well struck free.
That's a very good and settling score for IT Carlow. Very, very quick puck out down on top of James Bergen.
Kenny is fouled. It's another free out for IT Carlow. There's a little bit of niggle between him and James Bergen.
I don't know if Bergen was expecting the puck out to come so early. He looked like he hadn't made the run.
Little push from James Bergen. Well, the breeze is against Jerry Kelly. It's going to drop around the square. Luckily for DCU, it falls kindly for them, but then they lose it.
Surprised the umpire didn't call that, actually. Chris Nolan looked to have been in the square there.
Burke did well, coming back to help out Blanchfield. It's out over the line. It's a line ball to DCU. It's tetchy, isn't it?
Very tetchy and struggling to get the ball in hand.
It's always particularly difficult to get the ball in hand on a cold night. It isn't wet though.
No, small mercies. This place is routinely wet and rainy. That was
Ball falls to Dara Gray.
great dispatch.
Brilliant score.
Super score there. Great snap.
Let's have another look. How did he steal that back off Cian Kenny? I don't know. I'm not even sure he knows, but when he got it, he made good use of it.
No, unfortunately, he got caught there. Should have been on the puck out.
That's a very good take. Here's Casey. Surely that's a penalty. It is.
Just a bit of lack of communication there when Dara actually struck the ball over. There was nobody in midfield to pick up the ball. Nice short puck out resulted actually in that forward play.
And now we'll have a stoppage because Casey is down injured. As is one of the DCU players. Can't quite see who it is from here. Here's the penalty incident. We did say IT Carlow might go direct. That was direct-ish, helped on by Higgins. Not the cleanest of hand passes. Casey did well with it.
4-on-1. Credit to Adam Howland there actually for picking out the midfield and the quick puck out, which obviously has resulted in the penalty. So very sharp goalkeeping there from Howland. Andy
Dunphy getting cleaned up. As we're here, the very best wishes to Paddy Marr, who had to retire in the last couple of days. I spoke to him last week, and even then he was planning on coming back. He was rehabbing fine, and then got the horrific news, terrible news, that he won't be able to play anymore. But what a legacy he has left. 3 All-Irelands. That's just one of the feats that we could name.
Look, he is box office, and he'll be incredibly missed. I think some Sundays there you'd literally pay your ticket to see Paddy Marr alone. So really disappointed that he's had to retire on medical grounds.
There was nothing better in hurling than seeing him go up in the air and grab the ball and fire it long down the park.
Take 2 fellas along with him, like, before he actually...
So it will be Marty Kavanagh who takes the penalty. Marty Mouse Kavanagh, to give him his full name, although not his official title.
I'm afraid he may have been nicknamed Van Wilder now after your earlier comment.
It's never a bad thing to be named after a Ryan Reynolds character. So Kavanagh up against Eddie Gibbons, who has a decent record from penalties. Gibbons. Kavanagh sticks it. What a strike.
That's 1-1 in 5 minutes. This is the experience that we're talking about. Kavanagh's have been around this team a long time, and he's a leader, but you know, to be able to do that in 5 minutes is really going to settle them. And there's
a finish.
No Owen Cody on the field, but Kavanagh can do that on his own. You can see IT Carlow are just growing in confidence here now, starting to spray the ball around.
IT Carlow playing their way out. They look really cool under pressure, don't they?
Yeah, nice, good organised, not looking to throw the ball away, looking to find their player.
And now they've got the free out. DCU's discipline has not been great. Jerry Kelly looking up the park.
Another very direct ball there. They're cutting out their half forward line.
And it's a free in. Well, getting over it there was Owen Gahan. Made it difficult. Fought for it. It's a real trait of this IT Carlow team. Kavanagh will take the free.
There just seems to be green jerseys everywhere. DCU don't seem to be able to find routes in at the minute.
I think that's Dunphy who's still getting the running repairs. He'll have to change jersey.
There's been very little ball played in front of us here, actually. It's been all played on the right side, yeah. This is the big puck out that you were talking about now. Okay, he's gone short.
Kelly went up for it, couldn't get it. That's a smart turn by Blanchfield. Flicked it off to Bergen. Bergen. Good score by James Bergen.
That's much, much neater. That was 3 passes to score. Hopefully that'll settle DCU now.
Worth another look, this. Great take by Blanchfield. That's what you want when players take ball like that. You want players moving into space. DCU looking for more now. IT Carlow again using their strength to win it back. That was Cian Kenny. Sending it long as Seamus Casey who won the penalty. That's a really good catch. Niall Murphy. Connor Murphy. And sent away by Kevin Burke.
Just a little overplayed there. I don't think Jerry Kelly's going to leave Bergen away too far now after that last score.
Jason Clear is playing for IT Carlow. Wasn't named to start. We did expect some changes. Here's Chris Nolan. Off the woodwork. Unlucky.
The ball has been so direct from IT Carlow. They're getting lots and lots of change out of it. Really, really hard for the DCU defence to actually work with that kind of ball because it's coming in at such an incredible pace.
Nolan fancied this one. Desperately unlucky. But it's how Michael Dempsey would have played it while he was working with Brian Cody. Well, that's Rory O'Connor, who's now wearing 15. He wasn't named to start, but he has. Well, he was, and then we were told he wasn't, and now he is. He's got a yellow card. That's a good take by Ross Banville.
Just pulled wide of the post. Better play though there, and they're looking for space. That was a nice little pocket that he actually found himself in and wasn't afraid to shoot.
Howland goes shortish. Just fired long again, and the bounce is unlucky. Couldn't quite get there, Marty Kavanagh.
That half back line is just being told deliver, deliver, deliver. No ball is going into the middle of midfield or half forward line. Everything seems to be hitting the inside between the 21 and the end line.
But when you have the forward line that IT Carlow have, why not? Absolutely. Here's Niall Murphy. Dara Gray. He travels, but not where he wanted to go. IT Carlow try a diagonal. Chris Nolan trying to get there and doesn't. It was really good work by the defender. That is Andy Dunphy who's wearing 15. Just to clarify the confusion. Normally a player who is blood subbed would come back wearing number 27, 28, something like that. But just to clarify, that is Andy Dunphy. And that's a great catch. Storming out is Podge Delaney.
I think DCU just need to tighten up on their passing. They're probably a little loose, and it's allowing IT Carlow to pick up a lot of loose ball.
What a score that was. Brilliant stuff from Cathal Dunbar. Well, that long ranger went over. As you're watching that, DCU have tried one which they've missed through James Bergen. From the resulting scramble, IT Carlow have won the ball back. Jerry Kelly.
Jerry Kelly seems to be letting James Bergen win the ball. I think he's going to have to sit up on him. James Bergen has shown that he can shoot from distance.
Rushing in there is gone, but he couldn't make it stick. McBride.
Looks like Aidan Redmond has now gone on Bergen. Maybe he'll actually stay with him. Somebody should.
DJ Carey. I don't think I actually need to say any more than DJ Carey, do I?
Has a lovely hat.
Well, we can add that, yeah. Well, that's probably never been said before. It's really the only thing that we've said, or could say, that has never been said before. He's taken to management well, DJ Carey. Has done really well with IT Carlow. Has worked with the Kilkenny senior team as well as the under-20s. Trying to hoover it up there is Cian Kenny. 2 around him, but he's still got the ball away. They're so strong, IT Carlow. And now it's Marty Kavanagh again who goes to ground and wins the free, and he does the full Milan.
Maybe Marty hasn't left because he wants to win this Fitzgibbon. Maybe after this he might leave.
Went to ground and popped up. Watch this. Are you Milan in the skies?
Really, really positive run there. You know, that's what IT Carlow needs. If they want to make a stamp on this Fitzgibbon, they have to be winning today and winning well, I think.
Kavanagh. Wide. Well, there wasn't much in it, but it was wide. Eddie Gibbons. Dublin medal winner with Kilmacud Crokes. They were beaten by Clough-Ballacolla in the Leinster Championship. Bergen scoops it forward. That's a good take by Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan recycles to Ronan Hayes, but he has given away the free.
I think that's a little bit harsh. I think there's been enough physicality to justify that.
Podge Delaney following him.
Alright, it was into the chest.
Oh, okay. Well, but did the player dive into his shoulder, if that makes sense?
Duty of care. Oisin, duty of care.
Another breaking ball to be battled for. Another breaking ball won by IT Carlow. Higgins blocked down well. Following him was Ross Banville. Higgins gets it back. Ronan Hayes, or beg your pardon, Owen Gaughan flicked it off. Shot from Rory Higgins, which is blocked down. Another scrambles and rucks. So important in winter hurling.
I think DCU have decided that they're going to have to get men around the ball because there was just too much space earlier, so they appear to be hunting in packs. It's having the desired effect. IT Carlow aren't having as much space, but you do a lot of work when you're trying to tire yourself out, trying to get around a player 3 to 4 to a man.
Nolan was pumping his legs there, but he lost it in contact. Kevin Burke cushions it away from McBride. Eddie Gibbons might have been tempted to go long, didn't. Martin O'Connell.
Blanchfield's movement is very good here as well.
Away it goes. Podge Delaney again.
That's the loose ball that we're talking about. DCU have to be more clinical when they're distributing the ball.
Cian Kenny into the corner, chasing it is Andy Dunphy. Will he get there? Yes, he will, but he's got Chris Nolan all over him. Nolan fouls him, free out.
I think that's fair. It's good to see our forwards being that physical, and it's no harm giving a free away that far back the pitch. Tires out the defender.
Gibbons. Jerry Kelly misses it. It is taken up very well by Jim Ryan. Dara Gray misses.
That's a let off. But Gray is looking to move into those spaces. That would have been his second score. They're quite busy between Blanchfield, between Bergen and Gray. They are causing IT Carlow problems.
Half an hour aside. Remember, this one does not go to extra time and can't go to penalties because it's, technically speaking, not a knockout game. It's a group game. But someone will go out tonight. Eddie Gibbons. At the moment, it's DCU. That's a good take by Ross Banville. Blanchfield dropped it, regathered. He had Brennan with him. It climbs over. Blanchfield gets a much needed score, a vital score.
much better. And look, we had Eddie Gibbons picking out Ross Banville there. Really clever ball, moving the ball into space. And as we said, Bergen and Blanchfield will score for you. They just need the ball.
Well, I'm not sure if it was a clever piece of skill or an accident that he made work for him, but he dropped it and regathered, and therefore was able to carry it on and go for the shot. Here's Chris Nolan going for the shot. He's unlucky. Gibbons bats it away. Luckily for him, Conor Murphy was there to clean it up.
DCU defenders are actually growing in confidence, to give them credit. The last 3 or 4 balls that have gone in, IT Carlow haven't gotten as much change as they had in the previous instances.
An interception by Kelly, but he hasn't got the ball back for his team. However, Thomas Keys has. No one there for IT Carlow, swallowed up by Conor Murphy.
That's probably a bit of naivety there. He didn't need to deliver that ball so quickly. They're a goal up, they can afford to play through the lines.
What can they do here with Kieran Brennan? Pops up in the air, manages to regather, drops it again, just about keeps it in play. Good work by Fergal Hayes to get around him. Fergal Hayes from Killadangan and Tipperary. That's a shoulder into the front. I don't think Redmond is too happy. It is a free out.
Again, you'd 4 IT Carlow players around the ball there. They're definitely up for this game this evening.
Yellow card for Kieran Brennan, Bennett's Bridge.
Bit of a hit and hope there, Oisin. I think IT Carlow need to start being a bit more clever with their distribution. They started really well, but just not finding the same pockets of space as they had at the start of the game.
Brave defending by Conor Murphy, strong defending by Conor Murphy.
Probably paying into DCU's hands though a little, you know, straight into the centre, 4 DCU players around the ball. Much easier to manage.
Eddie Gibbons has a long puck out and a long strike of a ball, but I'm not sure even his strike of the ball is that long that he'd go for it from here. But I could be proven wrong. Looks like he's sizing it up. It's going to drop in around the square, but who will it drop to? That's a vital intervention. I think it might have been Jerry Kelly who caught it. Hard to tell in that crowd of players. It's cleared. That's a great catch, Owen Gahan. Foul. Dara Gray just a little bit reckless with the shoulder. Not vicious or anything like that, just a little loose.
Just didn't know his own strength. That was a great catch from Jerry Kelly. And look, there was 6 players from Carlow underneath that ball when it was being delivered into the square by Eddie Gibbons. They're not taking any chances. This score will bring it back out to 4.
Kavanagh. Good strike. Marty Kavanagh does it again. IT Carlow again winning the ball, again using their strength. It was Cian Kenny and James Stevens in County Kilkenny this time around.
They seem to be having the better of the exchanges in midfield for IT Carlow. They're just picking up that loose breaking ball. Bit of handbags here now between Owen Murphy and Chris Nolan.
That's off camera. Meanwhile, Niall Brazel goes long. Oh! It's, would you call it an own goal? I don't know, but you would definitely call it a goal. It's a stroke of luck for IT Carlow. Brazel dropping it in. Came off the hand of the very, very unlucky defender who lost it somehow. I think it might have been Niall Murphy who got his hand on it there. I'm not sure if he heard a shout from Gibbons or if Gibbons did give a shout.
I think it was Derek McBride, unfortunately.
Well, whoever it was, it's unfortunate for DCU.
You know, that's one of those ones where it just gets lost in the light. I've been inside in the square on the odd day, and sometimes you just cannot see the ball. It just does not come down fast enough.
And IT Carlow might be in again. Slipped forward by Dunbar, but Gibbons is there to intercept.
That could really take the wind out of DCU sails. Nothing like a goal, a cheap goal like that to give away.
Owen Murphy. Well, they need to respond quickly, or at the very least not concede too many scores on the run. Here's O'Connell. O'Connell goes for it.
That's just
doesn't get it
again. And now it's a 7-point lead. 8 minutes to go. You're looking for DCU to respond, get 2 or 3 scores, try to get within 4 or 5 points at half time so they've something to fight for, or otherwise they're out of this Fitzgibbon Cup. That was a super catch.
What a catch that was. Marty Kavanagh. And the pass matches the catch. Kavanagh in a pocket of space. He'll fancy it from here and does go for it. And doesn't get it. Gibbons safe under the high ball. Getting away from Dunbar. TJ was shouting at Dunbar, you have him. Keeper did well. Dara Gray pops it off. Kavanagh intercepts. I beg your pardon, it's Nolan. Nolan doesn't get the legs on the strike. Those are the kind of wasted opportunities that can come back to haunt you. As it stands, regardless of what happens in the other game, IT Carlow will top the group. Let's have a look at this second IT Carlow goal. Brazel with the long ranger. He was going for the point, it dropped in the square. And you're right, it was Derek McBride.
Very, very unlucky, very frustrating.
So intense out there, Cian Kenny.
That's another ball that Cian Kenny's picked up in midfield. His possessions in this half have been excellent and he's won lots of dirty ball. He's
unbelievably strong. He's slight but he's strong. What's there though is muscle. DCU get the decision. They need a stroke of luck to go their way. TJ is protesting. Well, it did appear to go out off... Oh no, Banville was fouled. That's what the decision is, it's a free.
DCU will be looking to get 2 scores before the halftime break. Just something to cement them, get them back on track.
Well, DCU did a bit of a comeback in the football, so why not in hurling? It looks like it has the legs. Does it have the accuracy? No.
I make that a 5th wide.
Who's going to win the breaking ball? It is with IT Carlow, Seamus Casey. It's a very decent pass. Making his way forward, Owen Gahan trying to get away from Martin O'Connell. Gahan still going, drops it, gets it up again. Tries to get it out of contact but can't, and it's swept up by Conor Murphy.
That's better defending from DCU. They're looking a bit more confident there. You'd like to see Bergen on more ball. You'd like to see Blanchfield on more ball. They have gone out of the play in the last 5 minutes, so you need leaders like that. Marty Kavanagh's done it for IT Carlow. These guys are going to have to step up.
Cian Kenny tries to pick up the loose one and does. Jerry Kelly drives it, but to no one. Kevin Burke. This will open up a bit in the second half. It can't be this intense and this tight for that long. Not tight in a scoreboard sense, but every time anyone has anytime anyone gets on the ball, they're immediately pounced on out there. Kevin Burke. IT Carlow appear to have dropped off a little bit. They're playing long ball in, but there's no one there to win it.
Chris Nolan seems to be playing up around centre forward, which I don't think is probably his best position. So you'd be looking for Chris to get back in around the square with the amount of supply that he had been getting. I wouldn't be moving out of the square.
Ten plays 3-7 the gap. Spill but regathered and then lost again and then regathered again. Fergal Hayes has to be careful, and he's hooked. Great hook there by Richie Lawler. Trying to get his back over that Dara Gray. Richie Lawler is on the ground. The referee gives the free to IT Carlow. Michael Dempsey just patrolling the line.
He said he sat on it. That's a bit, yeah.
But Fergal Hayes was tugging the jersey and it looked like he had his hand around the helmet there, so maybe he's lucky. That's an interception, but there was a free in. Things beginning to turn a little bit for DCU.
They certainly have their gander up despite being 7 points down. That's what you want to see before half time. You know, 7 points in hurling is no lead.
Barreling through Ronan Hayes. Pulled back on the way through. Here's Ross Banville. Banville, who wants to get to the Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup final, which is relatively close to home. He's from Wexford, it's on in Carlow. IT Carlow want to host it and be there themselves. Chris Nolan couldn't keep a hold of it. Swept up by Martin O'Connell. Chris Nolan there to try and win it back. He's done brilliantly, Chris Nolan. From Mount Leinster Rangers, former All-Ireland club finalists. Free out.
I still think he's playing too far out the field.
Nolan?
I think Chris needs to go in around the square.
Well, especially if you've got Marty Kavanagh in the half-forward line.
Yeah, they're basically doing the same job there. Sometimes as a full forward it gets frustrating. You want to tip out the field, but with the amount of supply that's there, he should be in around the square.
Here's Ross Banville, this one from long range, the last one very close to goal.
This could bring them back within 5, and then those wides that we talked about, scoreable scores, you know. DC were actually much closer than the scoreline would suggest in terms of possession.
Banville going long. And straight over the bar.
That's a great score. Just coming before the break.
Yeah, 5 between them now. Watch this. That's how you do it. It's left behind by Fergal Hayes, and he's been dispossessed by Jim Ryan. Ryan is fouled by Hayes.
And Hayes.
There's nothing worse as a cornerback than fumbling it and then knowing you have to give away the free.
There was a runner there, and I'm trying to figure out who it was, and he was screaming for the ball running through on goal.
Well, Hayes might argue that Ryan's hurley was high. He did win the ball. It wasn't what you call a vicious tackle.
Well, Ronan Hayes was barrelling towards the goal, and all he needed was a release. So he's going to be more frustrated than anyone, because a free there versus possible goal chance if he had been let through. It has to be a yellow card, I think. That's a cute cornerback play, we'll say, for that little number.
So a yellow card for Fergal Hayes from Killadangan and Tipperary.
And Fergal, you were dead right, but...
And it's tapped over by Banville. And it's a 4-point game.
It's a 4-point game. I would have liked to see Ronan Hayes win that ball, though.
IT Carlow can't get the possession inside that 45. Dara Gray. DCU farm it long. They've improved greatly in the last few minutes, but that's a great interception. Coming out of defence, Podge Delaney harassed by James Bergen.
Much better from DCU here, really showing that they want it.
Jim Ryan.
Super score.
Great score. The man from the Roar raises a roar. Fought to win it back, got it back, and squeezed it over from a tight angle. Doesn't get much better than that.
There is a scoring threat there on DCU's part. They just need to be more clever with the ball, just making sure that it gets to hand and not be so wasteful around the middle of the field.
Well, they suffered rotten luck in conceding that second goal. It was kind of fumbled into his own net by Darragh McBride. But here they come forward through Dunphy. Owen Murphy loses it, tries to win it back, and the referee's given the free in.
Was it a tug? No.
Not much there. Maybe they judged that there was a bit of not reckless use, but there was a hurley kind of flying around there from one of the IT Carlow players. Ross Banville doesn't care. He's got the opportunity to score, which he doesn't.
That's a let off. Now look, I don't know if that was the free first day, so maybe they're evening up the balance.
And that's half time. DCU have come back into it, but it's IT Carlow who still lead. What have you made of it, Sarah?
Really, really interesting game. IT Carlow started really well, delivered fast ball into their forwards, were getting scores. Now they've decided to play it through the lines. They just don't seem to be as quick with their possession, and DCU are taking full advantage of it and have had the last 3 scores.
They certainly have, and they've come back into it. DCU against IT Carlow. It's a tough one to call. We'll have the highlights of the first half to come very, very shortly. Then we'll bring you the second half. At half time, it is DCU Douglas Air in 7 points, IT Carlow 2-4. Half-time at the DCU Sports Campus. DCU Dochesharon at the moment on their way out of the Fitzgibbon Cup, but there is a long way to go. IT Carlow, as we stand, will top the group because they lead by 2-4 to 7 points, so they'll be on 6 points having won all 3 games. Waterford IT, WIT if you will, are leading at the moment against Maynooth University. It's 2-9 to 12 points in that game. It's a bit closer than people might have thought it would be at the break, but Waterford are leading there. So as it stands, Waterford and IT Carlow will go through, but Sarah Donovan, there is a long way to go yet. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of this game so far.
For 10 minutes afterwards was really imperative in the game. That was a great score from Dar Gray. Nice snapback, but then obviously the penalty came quickly after. Super finish from Marty Kavanagh.
And here he is in the penalty. Fantastic, wasn't it? Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt, yeah, and it really settled them, or I thought it was going to. They looked like they were obviously on course to put up a big score, but DCU had a couple of scores through Bergen, through Blanchfield, started to come around. Ross Banville obviously coming into the game.
Cathal Dunbar looking up and going long and getting a fantastic score.
There has been pockets of brilliance from IT Carlow. That was a very good score from Blanchfield.
The family business of getting dramatic points, getting good points.
Nice response then from Kavanagh. Obviously he had been out of the game.
And this is so unfortunate, off the hand of Dark McBride of St Vincent's.
Yeah, but look, Niall Brassel put that ball right into the square, and sometimes on a night like this the ball just gets lost in the sky. These ones are worth taking. That was a monster score from Banville.
He's been excellent.
Yeah, look, I suppose they'll rue those 3 or 4 wides that they've had in the first half. The last one was probably nailed on for a score. So what DCU will be looking for is absolute perfection for the second half to make sure that they can come back into this game.
Well, let's have a look at the penalty incident just before we start the second half. Casey ran onto it. He's so strong, so hard to stop. No questions about that. Is there a penalty?
No. And look, we talked about Fergal Hayes up on the other side. You know, that had to, I suppose it had to be done in the sense that you have to give your goalkeeper every chance of trying to stop that ball. You do not need him running through. But Marty Kavanagh stepped up and he delivered, so the end result was a goal.
Well, the game between Waterford IT and Maynooth University running concurrently. They're in or around the start of the second half there, as we are here, obviously, as you can see. As we are, IT Carlow will win the group. WIT will be second, but a lot can change in the next 30 minutes. Dara Gray. That's a good stick pass.
Looks like Jason Clear has come off. He's just down beside us. So
what a catch that was from Hayes. We'll come back to that in a second. Bergen inside. It's off the line, or is it in? It's in.
It's a goal.
It was so fast and it actually ricocheted back out, but Richie Lawler has come up with a big goal for DCU.
That puts them level. Perfect start, 40 seconds into the second half.
Well, that really does throw the cat among the pigeons. As we say, a lot can happen in the next half an hour, but if this ends in a draw, it gets kind of complicated.
Well, look, it was a fortuitous goal that IT Carlow had, so if they want to be Fitzgibbon champions, they're going to have to go at this now.
They're going direct, as they did early in the first half, to much success.
That's just tailed wide. That's unfortunate, but you know what? If the goal was the kick that Carlow needed, we could see a really good next 15 minutes.
So if this was to end in a draw, IT Carlow would be on 5 points. They'd be okay. DCU would be on 3 points, as it's intercepted by Rory Higgins. He just missed one. Can he make up for it? Higgins? No. Dunphy came sweeping across. The fullback who's wearing number 15.
Very lucky there. Eddie Gibbons will be a relieved man that his defence was able to sort that one out for him. It was just a stray ball, stray puck out. It would have undone all the work that DCU had done to get that first goal.
Dara Gray.
IT Carlow lads suggesting that he caught the ball twice.
One back by Podge Delaney. Goes backwards to the keeper, Howland. It's a really good long puck. Chris Nolan, can he make it his? Marty Kavanagh back into the path of Nolan. Nolan using his pace. Nolan still going. Nolan going for it. Nolan getting it. That's a really good point.
I know I was complaining about Nolan playing too far out. He's out around the 45 doing the same job as Kavanagh, but if he has the legs to continue into the square, then we could be in for a great evening.
Well, it's no longer level, but just to let you know, if it is a draw, DCU would likely go out if WIT were to beat Maynooth University. Well, they'd definitely go out if that was the sequence of results. So DCU need a win unless Maynooth can pull off a real surprise. IT Carlow going on, going direct. But the DCU backline, who had a rather shaky start, have powered into it, just as I say that Nolan tries to win it. Conor Murphy. Murphy goes to ground, having collided with Kavanagh. Kavanagh protests his innocence.
I'm just a little disappointed with Carlow's shape here. I expected them to be more organised.
There's a little bit of afters. No one needs this.
No, and now they're getting involved in handbags.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is get a silly card. Let's have a look at the DCU goal. A most unusual occurrence. Great catch, first of all, by Ronan Hayes, as you'd expect. Moved it off to Bergen. Bergen went inside to Richie Lawler. And it kind of, I think it bounced back out of the bag. And that's what caught us momentarily.
It was a super move.
Well, it was an eagle-eyed spot, even though one of the DCU forwards did rush in to tap it in. He'll claim it. It's a yellow card for Kavanagh.
What you'd like to see now here from IT Carlow is just to settle a little, get back on their men. I think their forwards are just playing too far out the field. There's nobody inside the 21 now. I find this incredibly frustrating. IT Carlow are so good at delivering direct ball because they're playing so towards midfield. They're really not going to get any change, and they're probably playing into DCU's hands.
Aidan Redmond receiving the treatment. This is what led to the card. Kavanagh and Dara Gray having a bit of a shoving match. Niall Murphy got involved as well, as cornerbacks like to do.
Dara Gray had a very good first half. You'd like to see him...
Referee talking to the sideline now. Just telling them to calm down. Is he telling someone to go?
This probably suits IT Carlow. All that energy that DCU had after the goal, you know, it quickly evaporates, and then the team that was under the cosh is able to kind of settle themselves and get back into the game.
Well, James Owens won't restart until he's happy. I think that's Owen Roche speaking to the manager. We can see, but we can't hear. DJ Carey, while all that was going on, was having a much calmer chat with the officials on this side of the pitch. Ronan Hayes spills it. Line ball, IT Carlow.
That break in play will suit IT Carlow now. They'll just have settled themselves. They'll focus again. They're a point ahead.
Just shoved there on Kevin Burke. Kavanagh getting involved again. He's on a yellow. He has to be careful. That wasn't the worst thing in the world or anything like it, but
I think they just need to get back to basics here. What we saw in the first 10 minutes was very productive from IT Carlow. Bit more balance, set it up, 6 forwards, 6 backs, get Cian Kenny back on the ball.
It's a good ball into the forward line, but it's left behind by Jim Ryan. IT Carlow comes storming out with Higgins, who loses it. Now it's back with Ryan, who's fouled.
Niall Brassel brought him down there. For a man of Niall's experience, he'll be disappointed with that.
Niall Brassel, are we calling him the scorer of the second goal, or are we giving Derek McBride an own goal?
Derek McBride's getting full credit for that.
We don't do own goals in hurling, do we?
Jesus, no, don't bring that in, no.
Okay. So Niall Brassel credited with the second goal, and Ross Banville credited with another point.
I've just disagreed with myself there, Oisin, actually. No, I'm giving it to Derek McBride.
That's okay. That's analysis, that's punditry.
Let's go into sleep for a second.
Say what's popular, not what's right. 2 DCU players colliding, and eventually the third one who comes in to win it does win it. And he's fouled, that's the goal scorer.
That's Richie Lawler there.
Yeah, Richie Lawler from Faith Harriers. Banville. Great block, getting the block in was Jack Roach. Kelly. Cleared by Aidan Redmond, I beg your pardon.
That's a super ball. That's the kind of ball we were looking for.
Chris Nolan with Dunphy all over him. Nolan goes to ground, no free. Hasn't given up on it. This is some battle. It's not what you'd call a free-flowing game of hurling at the moment, but it is a good battle. It's intense, it's entertaining.
No, it was good to see Nolan back in around the square there, and that's where he's most dangerous. Let Marty Kavanagh do the hard work outside around 45.
That's a really, really clever turn. It's Jim Ryan again. Lets it slip. Trying to steal away is Podge Delaney. Marty Kavanagh, what's he doing back there?
A lot of tugging going on there. Interesting to see will he get his free.
It is a free in from out the field to IT Carlow.
No, he's giving it out.
Well, he's off camera pointing in the direction of IT Carlow, as in the direction IT Carlow are playing, but it is a free out, as you say.
I think Chris Nolan was probably just a little too physical there, and as he was running, he was actually holding Dunphy off.
Niall Brassel goes long. IT Carlow, they were good direct in the first half. That one is left behind by Higgins, but he does regather it. Winds up and goes for it. And doesn't get it.
That's a let off for DCU, but great to see Chris Nolan back in on the square.
As we are, IT Carlow go through as group winners. DCU go out. WIT joining IT Carlow from this group in the next round, which of course is the quarter-final. Trying to sweep up as Redmond. Policed heavily by Dara Gray. Thomas Keys of Camross and Leash. Ross Banville was trying to win it there as well. Over it now is Jim Ryan. Can anyone get this ball in hand? Eventually,
It's
Richie Lawler.
Yeah.
That's a kind bounce for DCU. Derek McBride hits it wide. Or does he? No, he doesn't. He puts it over. Good score by Derek McBride.
It was the right option in that instance, but you'd hope that later on in the game, if it came up again, he'd take and he'd go for goal.
Well, he was desperately unfortunate with that second goal and how it came off his hand and into the net. That doesn't make up for it. Those things don't cancel each other out, but outside of that goal, he's played well.
Nice to make a contribution, yeah.
Yeah, he took his point well there. There he is again, and he wins the free out. He's thundering into this one, Derek McBride of St. Vincent's. It's a long ranger, but it's not accurate.
That's a let off. Marty Kavanagh's been a little quiet in the last 10 minutes. I think we need to see him on ball.
DCU leading by 1 on their home turf. IT Carlow got to the final of this competition a couple of years ago. It was played here. They lost to UCC. They had a good lead in that game. It was eaten into. Eventually UCC saw it home. Niall Brazel battling with Richie Lawler. And the referee gives the free to IT Carlow.
I think he's given that against Richie Lawler for sitting on the ball. They've been caught like that a couple of times.
Well, let's have another look.
I know the conditions are slippery, but I see he's given away 2 frees now like that. That referee, so you just have to be conscious. You can't be seen to be sitting on the ball. He will give the free.
And it is Kavanagh. Kavanagh, who'll be a key man for Carlow again this season, and he's a key man for IT Carlow right now. That's a good score.
And we are back level.
Carlow looking to get out of Division 2 before that, though, before they concentrate on the league. Kavanagh and Nolan, among the other Carlow players, want to get into a Fitzgibbon Cup quarter-final. Bobbing and weaving is Seamus Casey, and it's a free in for IT Carlow, who are now on top.
He gave him the advantage. Referee held it up, gave it advantage. No advantage accruing, and now they get their free. And Marty Kavanagh steps over it again. Liam Bergen probably just a little anxious to get on that ball. Hasn't been on the ball in the last couple of minutes.
Kavanagh looking for 2 long rangers in a row. Where he's standing is just between the 65, slightly closer to the opposition 65, as you can now see. That looks good. That's because it is good. In fact, it's great.
DJ Carey has just asked Thomas Keys to go in wing forward. So slight change there.
DCU win the line ball. Inside IT Carlow's half. Dublin City in the background.
I think the referee has been very fair this evening, Oisín. You know, you can't argue too much on each side. Yellow cards have been given where they were needed.
Conor Murphy. Shifted on by Niall Murphy. Dara Gray from a long way out. It's wide.
That brings our wide tally to at least 8. On a close game like this, you wonder.
Banville. Bergen misses, and I think he missed the last one as well.
Wide's tally really starting to mount up for DCU. They do seem to be winning more ball around the middle of midfield though, so that is, I suppose, an improvement on the first half where Cian Kenny was dominating.
Dunphy. Lawler. Dropped by O'Connell. Regathered, to be fair to O'Connell. Coming to meet it, Owen Murphy. Oh, that's a bad fumble by Niall Murphy. Doesn't get away with it either. Dunbar robbed it back, gave it to Higgins, who moved it on. And now they're in behind. And it's a brilliant goal by Seamus Casey. Won the penalty to provide IT Carlow's first goal, and now he's scored the third. Cathal Dunbar won it back, moved it on to Higgins. Great hand pass by Keys, great finish by Casey.
have to credit IT Carlow. They're always running off the shoulder. Forwards are very busy. Very easy to play in a forward line like that when there's always somebody in front of you running.
Keys hand pass, unlocking the DCU defence. And here they go again. Dunbar measures, shoots, and scores a great point.
IT Carlow playing like this could fancy themselves in a Fitzgibbon.
Well, they fancy themselves to get through now. They're cruising nicely.
But to win it, Oisín.
Tarek McBride. That's the most Cork thing you've ever said. You're only concentrating on winning. Martin O'Connell to get DCU back into this game and this competition. It's wide. He was crowded out. Great defending by IT Carlow. Just got around and made it awkward, made it tough.
DCU will really rue those wides, you know, in both halves. They've had lots and lots of possession. They have the forwards, they have the scoring threat. They just haven't been clinical enough this evening.
Just couldn't keep it on frame. Fantastic catch. Now can he drive out? Kevin Burke tries to get there and does, but he's pushed into the corner. Burke intercepted. Roach. That's great work by IT Carlow. Now here's Kavanagh. He'll fancy it from here. He goes for it. And he gets it. Now that's a Marty party.
That's an incredible score from Kavanagh, and that brings it to 6. We're talking just over 12 minutes left. DCU have a lot of work to do here if they want to come back into this game.
What a point by Marty Kavanagh.
Absolutely stunning. That probably brings his tally to 1-4.
One of the best in the business. DCU not done yet. Desperate to try and play their way back into this game. Jim Ryan has won the free in.
PhD?
I'm sorry?
Is Kavanagh doing a PhD?
Well, he's a doctor of striking the ball for certain. He didn't even have to study for that. It's an honorary doctorship. Is doctorship a word? I don't think it is.
I'd be suggesting they offer him another degree next year. Keep him for another 4 years after that score.
Honorary doctorate. DCU have made a change. Conal Clancy has come in. Another Faith Harriers player. It's a long walk for Blanchfield and Jim Ryan. I'm surprised Ryan is going off. Maybe he's injured. He has won an awful lot of ball. He's made things happen for DCU. He's taken on IT Carlow.
That's a better ball.
That's a great ball and a great turn.
And the right man has it.
Hayes back outside, looking for Clancy. Keeper does really well.
That's short. That should have been a score. They need every one of those to go over if they're going to come back into this game.
They've wasted an awful lot of opportunities. Can they provide another one here? Dunphy trapped in the corner, but he can't get himself out.
Dunphy has done a world of work in this game, to his credit.
Taking off is James Bergen, rides the tackle really well. Clancy, was he chopped? I think he was. It's a free. Definitely a stray hurley going in on him. I think it was of the hurley belonging to Cian Kenny.
It's not all doom and gloom. If Banville puts this over, they're back within 4 with 9 minutes remaining. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. He landed one like this in the first half.
Banville. They need this to go over, but it doesn't. It's not done yet, but it's looking more difficult as time ticks on.
You'd be looking for Brassel, Jerry Kelly, Marty Kavanagh, Chris Nolan, just to settle this IT Carlow team to get them through.
Howland gave the puck out plenty, but it is intercepted by Kevin Burke. Banville back to Burke. Good play by DCU. Clancy fumbled, and then it was kicked out of play by the wing forward Seamus Casey. He has popped up everywhere tonight, Seamus Casey. Scored a goal, won the penalty for a goal. Now he's back in around his own 45.
Kevin Burke in DCU has won 2 clean puckouts in the second half. DJ Carey won't be happy with that. Your half-forward line shouldn't be allowing a player to put up the hand and allow the ball to come out that quickly.
He just couldn't hang on to it, Ronan Hayes, but he's got it back now, much to his credit. Bergen, if he gets into the square and goes down, he's a chance of getting a penalty. And the referee, James Owens, is being rather dramatic about this. What's his decision? Hasn't committed to one yet. A free in. At this stage, do you go for goal, Sarah, or do you just tap it over and take the point?
You tap it over and you take the point. Well,
the fact that Banville went over to take it suggested straight away they were going to go for the point, because I think Hayes would have taken it if they were going for goal.
Yeah, look, it's 18, 14 if this goes over. 4 points, 8 minutes. There was probably a couple of minutes. That's 10 minutes you're looking at to get four scores.
Banville goes for it, doesn't get it, but they pull on it. Second attempt, Bergen can't get it either. IT Carlow scramble it away. Banville wins the ball. Goes back outside. Surely now they'll tap it over for an easy point, although it won't be easy because O'Connell fumbled it. That's a good hand pass. Hayes gets it into the hand. Has an option running off the shoulder. Hayes goes direct himself and loses it. Sean Curry is in. We were told that while he wasn't starting, having been named to start, he would or might come in at some stage. He is a man who can get scores, he is a man who can get goals, but that was an opportunity to tap over an easy point. Not only did IT Carlow not concede, but they also kind of wasted a minute of the game by DCU not scoring, if that makes sense.
Agree. I think DCU should have taken that point, would have brought it back to 4, would have focused them. It's a lot harder to chase a 5 lead than a 4 lead. And IT Carlow will have gained confidence from this now. And you're looking at a direct ball into that danger zone. Chris Nolan's gone up with the hand.
It's Kavanagh who has it. And Kavanagh who has another score. That is fantastic.
That was an outrageous score from Kavanagh.
Worth another look, Kavanagh. He's just so hard to deal with when he's in that kind of form, Kavanagh.
A petition for Chris Nolan or Martin Kavanagh to change their helmet.
Seamus Murphy. Seamus Casey, I beg your pardon. Hits it wide.
IT Carlow haven't had that many wides, by comparison to DCU. Haven't had as many shots, but they've certainly been more efficient.
Going long is O'Connell. Hayes is trying to get there and does. Hayes at a tight angle. Don't panic, Podge, is the shout from the sideline at Delaney, the fullback. That's a good pass to Curry. Curry, good goal. We said he can get goals. He's proven the point.
That came out of nothing, but great awareness there from Ronan Hayes to give the ball off to Curry. Obviously trusts him implicitly. He was closest to goal. I wouldn't have necessarily given the ball off myself. You'd be too covetous, but gave it away, got the goal. DC are back in this.
Sean Curry of Nafina. 1 goal between them. 5 minutes plus injury time left. When the pressure is on like this in any sport, anything can happen. O'Connell, who won that last ball and got it long, to Hayes, who got the pass away to Curry. They're going long again. Hayes is there again. Remember what he did at the end of the Dublin Senior Final? Kilmacud Crokes looked dead and buried against Nafina. And now they've won the free. And it's Ronan Hayes again. Great pass by Kevin Burke. Looking to Ronan Hayes, a man who did him damage in the Dublin County Final with a late storming show and a comeback. But they're playing together now, and they're effective. Banville to tap it over to make it a 2-point game.
That all started with Kevin Burke. Kevin Burke has been excellent there. 2 great catches from puckouts and that delivery in for the score. Kevin Burke has been, I suppose, tremendous in turning this game around for DCU.
And now the fullback is on a yellow card. That's Podge Delaney from the Harps and Leash.
I thought the yellow card was probably a bit harsh, to be honest.
Gian Kenny, that's a great run. Pops it inside. Nolan couldn't take it first time, does take it second time. Tries to find Casey and can't. Taking it is Murphy, but he couldn't get it into the hand. And the referee gives the free out.
There wasn't much difference to what Podge Delaney did to Ronan Hayes there, to be honest. I think that was a let-off for DCU. There's definitely a push down on Chris Nolan.
That's a great turn by Curry. Curry around Delaney, who has to be careful because he's on a yellow card. Curry goes for it again. It's blocked by Kelly. And it's a free in. Kelly and Delaney got around Curry, two of the best defenders you could find, yet still Curry won the free for his team.
You wonder if Curry had been on for the whole game, where this score would be for DCU. They've been full of running and full of confidence since he came on.
Ross Banville to make it a 1-point game. Banville puts it over.
Interesting to see where this puck out lands. I'd be avoiding Kevin Burke at all costs. Hopefully IT Carlow are clever enough to avoid him. No, they're going to land it down on top of him again. Good man.
Goes over Kavanagh, swept up by Burke while he tries to sweep it up. Now it's taken by Keys. Created the third goal, looking for a point now, which he doesn't get. DCU have the possession. They're going long again. Curry and Hayes are hanging around. It falls for Curry. Just couldn't get it into his hand. It got stuck in, well, not the mud. The conditions are good, the pitch is good, but there's not much bounce in the pitch at this time of year as Curry goes to ground and wins the free.
To bring it level.
Well, he didn't take it cleanly, it just wouldn't bounce up from him, but he worked hard to make it his and then won the free.
That initial ball, crossfield ball, I think it was Conal Clancy gave it across. Knew instinctively Ronan Hayes was there coming onto that ball. That kind of ball would have done IT Carlow so much damage in the first half. It's a pity that they didn't actually target that.
We're all square.
With 4 seconds left of normal time.
Level here. WIT, when last we heard winning, that means that Carlow will be on 5 points, DCU will be on 3 points, WIT will be on 4 points. So DCU, despite the stirring display, would go out. And even if they lose, it has been a stirring display. There's been times in the game where they haven't played particularly well, but they've never given up and they have fought hard.
They were
Nolan.
Lucky with that goal, but look, they fought and they're back in this game.
Nolan to put IT Carlow in front. It goes across the face of goal and wide. Keys was trying to get there, but he couldn't keep it in.
Question is, do DCU know that they need a score here?
I think they were working off the assumption that they had to win because WIT were always the favourites for that game in Maynooth. Although we are waiting on a latest score from there. IT Carlow. Well, they'll top the group regardless, but they want to top the group with 3 wins from 3. They don't want to register a loss.
That ball
Podge
just
Delaney
spilled away from Richie Lawler there.
And by the way, if IT Carlow lose this game, then WIT, DCU and IT Carlow are all on 4 points, and then we're going down to scoring difference. Great ball to Curry. Curry trying to get around Brazel. Curry does get around him, where there's another IT Carlow player waiting. That's a good ball. It's a free in. Chop down, says the referee.
There was far too much messing going on for me there, but great ball from Liam Bergen across to Sean Curry, picked him out. Curry just couldn't get the space. Should have been an easy tap over. Have to credit the IT Carlow backs there, the defenders. They literally hunted Curry down, gave him no space.
If you heard some fruity language, we apologise. Obviously, it's not us who's using the language, but you are hearing it.
No, thankfully.
So, Sean Curry to potentially give DCU the win and to make it a very, very confusing few minutes to see who goes through, because it would go down to scoring difference. WIT have beaten Maynooth 5-17 to 20 points, so that is a very big score.
You have to credit DCU for going and chasing this game, because they did look out of it. They were 5 points down and have spent the last 10 minutes going at IT Carlow, despite some worldly scores from Marty Kavanagh.
Sean Curry went for the goal and missed it. It's pulled on. Kevin Burke went for it, but he couldn't get it. It's another pull. It goes wide, and IT Carlow may well have done enough to hang on. Well, I do wonder why he went for goal. Was it a case that they've been told you have to get a goal, scoring difference counts?
I'd hope so, because otherwise it made absolutely no sense.
Yep.
There's obviously a statistician on the other side working his magic.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
This little stoppage now will suit IT Carlow. Another 20-30 seconds just running down the clock. And we go back to those wides that DCU had throughout this game.
And the lucky stroke unfortunate goal. Lucky if you're from an IT Carlow point of view, unfortunate if you're from a...
I don't know if that impacted the game as much as the wides, to be honest. Look, you're talking 9-10 wides from DCU. Could have cancelled out that goal pretty quickly, you know. I just think they weren't clinical enough today, weren't sharp enough, which is really disappointing because they have the scoring threat.
IT Carlow shouting time, ref. IT Carlow have a far better scoring difference than Waterford and DCU, and it means that IT Carlow go through because they've got the win. They've gone through as group winners. DCU, it looks to me, according to my calculations, are out. A draw, not enough for them. They needed a fairly big win and they haven't got it. Well, they've given it everything, but it hasn't been enough. IT Carlow get well, not the victory, they get the draw. It feels like a victory, I'm sure. They top the group. Waterford IT joined them in the quarterfinals. DCU, Dochas Éireann, unfortunately for them, go out. DJ Carey walking onto the pitch. He doesn't look too happy, does he, Sarah?
No, and this game shouldn't have been as close as it was, because IT Carlow were cruising for the first 20 minutes and they've allowed DCU back into this game and then actually ended up having to chase the game for the last 10 minutes there. Just not willing to hold possession and even late in game carry the ball through the lines, because when you're winning like that and it's tight, you do need to carry the ball through the lines, and they weren't willing to do that. There's times to be direct, there's times to carry the ball through the lines, and I don't know if they know that yet.
Well, IT Carlow, Waterford IT and DCU, Dochas Éireann all came into tonight wondering who would go through. The way it's worked out is that IT Carlow are on 5 points, Waterford IT are on 4 points because they beat Maynooth and beat them well. DCU third on 3 points. If they'd have all ended on 4 points, then it would have come down to scoring difference. If there was 2 of them on 4 points, then it would have come down to head-to-head. As it is, we can sort it out with points. Waterford IT joined DCU, or joined IT Carlow in the next round. It was quite a dramatic night.
Very enjoyable night. Look, for the spectator, there was goals at both ends, fortuitous and classy goals too. But ultimately, the best team won in this occasion, and you know, the likes with the likes of Owen Cody having to sit this one out, you wonder if IT Carlow would have been much further ahead if he was on the pitch, because another threat that they wouldn't have been able to close down.
IT Carlow do enough to top the group. DCU, Dochas Éireann go out. The final score, DCU, Dochas Éireann 213, IT Carlow 310. Let's have a look at some of the second half highlights in a second. Sarah, you'll talk through them. I'll run down and grab someone to chat to for an interview. It will be Marty Mouse Kavanagh, but there were some highlights to look at in the second half, and the man that we're going to talk to after we get a look at these was involved in most of them. Got that goal from the penalty, got a couple of nice frees, got a couple of nice ones from play as well, and it was a stirring display from him, and he did really well tonight, didn't he? IT Carlow and Marty Kavanagh, when he needed to, Marty Kavanagh stepped up.
Yeah, we'll probably will we give him the nod for player of the match this evening? I think he just had some clutch moments that resulted in the win. So the old dog for the hard road, isn't that what they say?
He's not that old.
Well, he's old in Fitzgibbon terms. You can go down and ask him.
He's experienced. I'll ask him how old he is when we get down there after we have a look at the second half highlights in just a moment. But IT Carlow, a draw tonight. Will they be disappointed or will they be pleased enough? Because they did what they needed to do. DCU came back at them, but still they held out.
I thought they were one-dimensional. You know, I talked about them being direct, but I don't know if they can play the ball through the line. So we'll have a look here now.
Yeah, you can talk us through this.
Sure. So Banville, you know, very direct. Probably had some poor wides in the first half. You know, cleaned it up in the second half. I think he had one bad wide in the second half that actually ultimately looks like could have cost him the game. Marty Kavanagh, obviously, and Chris Nolan were excellent for IT Carlow, getting individual scores. Banville tipping over again for another point, just keeping them in touch. And then you had Derek McBride's score there. You know, he obviously had been involved in the early goal. Kavanagh, massive point from a free, which just tipped them ahead again. Kavanagh was obviously everywhere in the second half, and that was probably the score of the game, just underneath us. This was the goal then, lovely layoff. And the penalty maker turned goal scorer there. Really, really good goal. Really, really good finish. And it looked like that should have finished DCU off, but in fact it didn't. I thought Eddie Gibbons was actually very good at picking out his teammates. It's a hard job under the lights to find your teammates, but he did very well. That was actually a wide, and that was probably a big let off. This was another great Marty Kavanagh score. And then this was the penalty, had to have been a penalty. Liam Bergen pulled down 4 players around him. I personally think they probably should have gone for the point there. And that was a big score from Marty Kavanagh straight after that penalty miss. There we have Kevin Burke. He was excellent in the game. A big call there, Ronan Hayes. And that actually resulted in a yellow card for Podge Delaney. Tap over, a handy one for Banville. And Banville again. Freeze, lots of freeze in the second half to allow DC to come back into play. Sean Curry was brilliant. Sean Curry was absolutely brilliant when he came in. And just as we said a while ago, we think that he was told to go for a goal here because the permutations meant that it wasn't possible for DCU to go through with a point. So despite giving up the win in chance of a draw, they haven't gone through.
So that's how IT Carlow got the draw and topped the group in this game. That did matter in the end. DCU, as we were saying at the end of the match, had to go for goal. A win on its own was no good for them. They had to win by a bit of a distance. Unfortunately for them, it didn't happen. Fortunately for IT Carlow, it did. Marty Kavanagh, that was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. I suppose we expected this huge battle coming up, so exactly what we got. Like, we were 6 points up there at one stage, but it was never over, and they fought back like we expected. But look, we showed a lot of character there to dig in, and look, we came up to get a result, and we got the result, so we're delayed going back now.
At the start of the game, you were going direct and it worked, but then DCU closed you down and you had to find another way. Is that a fair way to put it? Yeah,
the first 20 minutes I thought we were very good. Like, we came out for all goals blazing, and we got a bit of a lead, but again they had their purple patch just at the end of the second half there, but I thought we held them well enough to 3 or 4 points and didn't concede a goal, which was a big thing going in. And we're 3 points up at half time, which we were happy because we had a small bit of a breeze going in the second half, but obviously they got the goal straight away, but then we responded very well again. So look, all in all, we're happy. Like,
how do you assess IT Carlow's performances so far? That's now 3 games and 3 wins, and you're through to the quarterfinals as group winners.
Yeah, look, I suppose every week we're getting better, and we're getting better as a team. Like every college is affected with the COVID and the county training, so we haven't been together as much as we liked. But as I said, the week on now has bringing us on better, and that game will be huge to us now going into the home quarter final next week.
IT Carlow got to the final the last time this competition was held. It was held here, the final. Unfortunately, you lost having been in a good position. You were part of that team. Is that driving on the lads who were there, the management who were there, or does that have any relevance to what's happening this season?
Look, not really, I suppose. Look, the college has been going strength to strength for the last maybe 10 years, and you know, they lost 2 Fitz finals in the last maybe 5 years, and lost a couple of semi-finals, like. But obviously the goal is to win the Fitzgibbon, like. And look, we topped a very difficult group, and we're just delighted to be in a quarter final next week.
Marty, well done to you, well done to IT Carlow. The best of luck in the quarter-finals. They take place next week. You can keep an eye on the GA Higher Education channels as to when the detail and all that will be available for those quarter-finals. Also, keep an eye out on the Electric Ireland social media channels, because we'll have details of our next stream in the Electric Ireland Sigerson Cup and, of course, the Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup. IT Carlow one step closer to a home final, but a bit of work to do yet. They have a quarter-final next week, and there's some big sharks in that particular tank. From all of us here at the DCU Sports Grounds, good night.